if you paid attention to the controversy surrounding the Washington Post attacking the Libs of TikTok account, this is kind of a significant story here because the Libs of TikTok Twitter account basically just grabs all the crazy things that many of them, frankly, are teachers, but left-wingers are saying and shares it for the audience at large. And so the Washington Post decided they had to do a deep investigation of this Libs of TikTok Twitter account and also TikTok account and Instagram and everywhere else. And here's the Washington Post's intrepid lying reporter, Taylor Lorenz, talking about why that was so important to do.
It's rare to see an account gain so much prominence so quickly and be shaping these narratives in such an effective way, especially against trans people. My story was kind of long, but I really wanted to make the case, like, why this account mattered. And I think it's incredibly important, as someone that covers the influencer industry, to know who is exerting influence in this way. I mean, for all we knew, this could have been a foreign actor, right? Or someone we just didn't know. And so I thought, hey, look, this account has massive power, massive influence. This woman is basically on an entire right-wing media tour. She gave interviews to the New York Post, Tucker, all of that, and registered as a media company, registered a trademark. So yeah, I thought it was quite important and in the public interest to find out who was running it.
Fascinating, isn't it, that anonymity for social media users is so subjective when it comes to who the left thinks should be able to be anonymous online and who they think should be unveiled using the resources of the second richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, and his Washington Post to do so. Notice it could be a foreign power. This is just playing to the deranged Democrat mind about Russia, Russian information operations, Trump and the Facebook pages and all the rest of it. All you have to do is say, it could be a foreign influence. First of all, they love foreign influence when it actually hurts their political enemies. They could care less about it. And then the notion that somehow what Libs of TikTok is, by the way, they're just running Mark Meadows text messages on CNN. They're just going to do this all day. This is the entire. I'm seeing this over my screens here. It's funny. Anyway, they're going to keep pushing that because they have nothing else to push, just so we're all clear on it. So they're hoping that this is somehow a distraction. But back to Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok just shares what is already being shared. This is the
Yes.
amazing part of it. And I would have everybody note, if you go and look at this account, and it's also on Facebook now, and the videos, the Libs of TikTok brand, so to speak, makes its way onto Facebook and Instagram, you go and you see these videos. It's not that the left says, oh, that's terrible, we don't stand for that, or this isn't something that we would ever. They just attack the sharing of the content. It's not that when they hear a teacher say really off-putting stuff about what kind of gender identity training 5-year-olds need, the left says this isn't actually what we believe. No, they just say, how dare you go after trans people in this way? Well, it's just letting a trans person in some of these cases, or a pansexual person, or a cisgender, non-binary, I don't know.
Imagine that even these phrases exist, right? I mean, like, you're running through, to your point, who cares if it's a foreign actor? If all they are doing is taking people's opinions and sharing them with an audience, you're putting your opinion out there. It doesn't matter who's running this account. They're just holding up a mirror to how crazy the left wing in this country has become. And the left wing doesn't like that mirror being held up and reflected so that people around the country can see how crazy they've been. That's what this really is about.
I think they also are recognizing that this game they play, what they used to think they could get away with is that's not happening. That's not what's really going on. Because of Zoom at home instruction, parents are now attuned to this because they've seen, and there's a whole awareness. There's an awakening among parents about what their kids are actually being taught. And that's why here's a perfect example. I mean, we've just gone through the parental rights and education bill thing. Here's an example of what is going on right now versus what the left would like to be happening. They say that Governor DeSantis in Florida is banning math textbooks for no reason. It's just banning math textbooks. That's the storyline. That's the talking point. The reality is that the Florida Department of Education is picking which textbooks they're going to actually distribute to children in schools, and some of them contain some of they're not banning, just so everyone knows, would be you can't buy this, and if you have this in the state of Florida, you'll be arrested, or you know, this is banned to be sold. That's banning. Not choosing someone's book is not the same as banning a book. That's for starters. So they're lying to you with that. But this whole notion of social emotional learning, which has become much more prevalent in the public school system, and Chief Commissar, what's her name, Randy Weingarten, thank you. The Chief Commissar of the schools is out there talking about all this stuff. DeSantis said, math is about getting the right answer. We want kids to learn to think so they get the right answer. It's not about how you feel the problem should be or to introduce some of these other things. There's a right answer and a wrong answer. Clay, when you look at some of the social emotional learning, it's bizarre. There'll be a math problem. It'll be, what is, a quarter plus a third, and then below it'll be like, how does this problem make you feel? Like, does this address the social issues of society? It's bizarre what they are doing in some of these curricula.
No doubt. And did you see the video that went viral this morning from Good Morning America? Speaking of the conflict that exists between Disney and the state of Florida, they had I believe it was a transgender kid doing a catwalk on Good Morning America. This is really getting, and again, under 18, this is really becoming more and more of a commonplace story. And by the way, Good Morning America is on ABC, which is owned by Disney. It's hard to make the argument that Disney isn't in some way, as a larger corporation, complicit in trying to normalize this.
I saw that video, and hat tip to, I think it was Matt Walsh, who was sharing it out there. And obviously, this is just the content that's out there. This is not even editorializing on it per se. This is just, hey guys, remember this clip from ABC, one of the biggest. GMA, the whole thing is, let's just have everybody watch. A little bit of news, a lot of, this is how you make the best summer salad, right? It's supposed to be,
totally unthreatening television is what it's supposed to be.
It's just meant to be the, the easiest sort of, anyway. The child in this case looked to be it's a boy about what, maybe 10 years old, something like that.
Ish,
doing,
I would think.
Maybe 8 or 9, doing a drag show. And when you see the video, and this is on Good Morning America on ABC, which is owned by Disney, and millions of people are watching, you have a little boy dressed up in a glittery gown with a big wig on and a boa, swaying his hips side to side and dancing in a way on the ground this is inappropriate. I don't know what else to say, Clay. You see this, you say, what the heck? But because there's this whole, oh no, it's a celebration of what exactly?
I just come back to, we don't let, in our household, our kids pick very often the food that they eat. I have a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Because if we let them pick every meal that they would eat, then they would not be remotely healthy. And I'm not sure it's saying they're the perfect approximations of health when it comes to what they eat already. We're far from perfect. How is it that virtually, by the way, every parent is the same way, right? You have to, in some way, help control what your kids eat, particularly the young ones, right, when they're in elementary school. How is it that the same parents won't let their kids pick what they eat, are supposed to be okay with letting a kid pick their gender when they are 10 or 11 years old? This is just, I refuse to consider this to be normal. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to normalize this idea that young kids, way before they're adults, can decide that they are a different gender than they were born, and that they can be expected to have surgery to address their being the wrong. This is truly child abuse, but it's also a form of insanity, Buck.
I think the left has actually gone over the cliff here, and and they don't yet fully realize it, but most of America is saying, "Oh no, you've actually gone over the cliff, guys. This is too far. This is not intellectually or ethically defensible." And they've gone over the cliff with a number of things, with the male competition in female sports, the NCAA, at the highest level, right? They've gone over the cliff with defending teaching 5-year-olds about transgenderism and gender identity, which it's fascinating because absent that instruction, how many transgender 5-year-olds are there? Apparently 0. But all of a sudden, with that instruction, we're told you're bringing out what was already there. Based on what exactly? Where
Kids
is
are
it's absurd.
so susceptible.
They're brainwashing kids. And the problem is now they've recognized that their only way through this is to just keep doubling down and saying, no, this is a civil rights struggle. Really? It's a civil rights struggle to tell your 5-year-olds in public school without your knowledge as a parent that, you're not really a boy, you're a girl. They've had teachers hide some of the early transition from parents. Think about that. I mean, who do kids really belong to? Families. They don't belong to the school system. They don't belong to Chief Commissar Randy Weingarten and the Biden administration and all the mediocrities around him who are actually calling the shots. But we keep saying it. Everybody out there, you have an opportunity here, you listening anywhere in the country, to do what you can between now and this election to send a message. I'm not saying it's going to make all the problems go away. Clay and I are both realists. We know there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to hold the Republicans to account. If they do get a majority, you're still going to have, jackass President Biden running things. But at least we can point to it and say the madness has been turned back for now. We can do this. We can do this.